What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about budgeting and how this can set you up for future success. So before we begin, why is it important to keep track of your money and start a budget? Well, simply because you don't want to overspend, and it's good to have a view of where your money is going. That said, let's look at a budget tracker I copied from a YouTube video. The link is down below. So the first thing we're gonna look at is our goals, which are limits on how much we should spend on each category. The first one on the list is the needs, things like food, rent and water. But since I live with my parents and they provide for my needs, I get to keep that money. As a result, I can put it toward saving or spend it on video games, evolution cards, boba, etc. Instead, I decided to invest in PepsiCo. The reason is that PepsiCo pays well dividends and it owns all these snack brands. But you can also invest in an index fund, some other growth stocks, or other dividend schemes, depending on your risk tolerance. Anyway, let's put this into perspective. We will use a dividend calculator I found online. Each year, I usually buy 4 shares of PepsiCo and let the dividends reinvest in themselves. So, by the end of 30 years, we will have $8,000 of dividends just by holding and buying 4 shares of Pepsi each year. Not only that, look at what happened if I set it to 40 years instead. All of a sudden, the annual dividend income went from $8,000 to over $35,000 a year. That's the power of compound interest. Compound interest refers when the dividends are reinvested. Therefore, you would get more dividends the next time the company pays out. Essentially, the more you let those dividends reinvest in themselves, the more your annual dividend income will increase each. Now, let's go back to our budget tracker. Over here, our next 2 categories are wants and saving. These are pretty straightforward. Wants are things like going out with your friends, going on a date, or buying a new girlfriend or boyfriend something, which is something that I've never done since I'm pretty much single. So yeah, it saves me a lot of money on that one. Anyways, moving on to saving. Generally, you want to have some sort of saving. This can be an emergency fund. I generally keep around $200-300 in my bank account, which I guess acts as my emergency fund. And then I would invest the rest in a growth stock or do a little bit of charity once a while. Alright, now let's move on to some tips that may help you stay on track of your saving investments. So first thing you should consider is whether it is really worth it to have a girlfriend or boyfriend at the moment. What I mean by that is how much money you will end up spending on them. For instance, a friend of mine spent roughly $80 on a basket of chocolate, stuffed animal and flowers for his girlfriend because he hadn't seen her for like a month. And guess what happened with some of the chocolate? She shared it with her dogs, which I'm pretty sure isn't healthy for the dog, but okay. Anyway, my last tip for you is that whenever you go out with your friends, spend what is necessary, not extravagantly. It's okay to spend money on food, maybe $20 or $25 on a toy. Don't be the person who spends extra to try to impress others. Buying things that you can't afford, and if you're trying to fit in a group, then is it really worth it? Because of things like worrying that you may look poor, feeling insecure about your image, or maybe trying to impress a girl or boy. But with the extent of having to do it again the next time you hang out with those people. This can lead to stress of trying to keep up, get into debt, and the relationships that you're in become based on appearance rather than real connections. Alright, thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something new. And remember that investing is a marathon, not a sprint. It may take 20 or 30 years to see your investment pay off, but until then, it'll be worth it. You won't have to worry about financial stress and able to live comfortably. See ya.